How fascinating. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita itself has become a case study in Vedic psychology. We certainly are fortunate to have eminent Vedic scholars such as M.K. Angajan to unravel the secrets of our ancient texts. Today in our Bhagavad Gita series, we explore the lessons of Chapter 10, the Yoga of Divine Splendor.
The 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is entitled Vibhuti Yoga. That is the yoga of supreme manifestation. This chapter, containing 42 verses, reveals that Brahman, God, as the source of the entire manifested world. Brahman or God is the foundation of the world, just as ocean is the basis of the waves. From the ocean, waves arise, exist in ocean, and merge back into the ocean. All the breakers, the froth and foam of the waves simply manifested from the ocean, as it were. The truth is that Brahman alone is, God alone is, nothing else. Everything that we are experiencing is simply an expression or manifestation of Brahman. Every human being that we contact, every living being for that matter, is simply an expression of God. It's a manifestation of God. In olden days, before the king come to the darbar or the parliament, they go through a small room which is referred to as the mirror room. In this mirror room, it was fitted with mirrors in all 6 sides of the room. So when the king entered the mirror room, the king saw hundreds of his own reflections, and the king knew that all those reflections are nothing but it's my own self. And the king admired himself in all this reflection and came away. And it so happened that one day the king forgot to close the door of the room. And there was a palace dog, the pet dog of the king. The dog entered the mirror room. When the dog entered the mirror room, the dog also saw hundreds of its own reflections. When the dog saw its own reflection, the dog did not know that it is his own self that is reflected. Because the dog did not know that its own reflection, the dog was jealous. The dog entertained hatred towards the other dog, and the dog started barking. And all the other dogs also started barking back. The dog started jumping, all the other dogs started jumping back. And eventually, through this desperate barking and jumping and crying, the dog started breaking the mirror in the mirror room. Now, what is the difference between the king entering the mirror room and the dog entering the mirror room? When the king saw his own reflection, the king knew that it is his own self that is reflected. As a result, the king admired himself in all these reflections. Whereas when the dog entered the mirror room, the dog did not know that it is his own self that is reflected in all the other dogs. As a result, the dog felt anger, hatred, jealousy, and envy. And eventually, who suffered? The dog himself. Similarly, in life as well, that it is our own self that is reflected in every living being. So when we are able to identify that it is my own self that is reflected, then you experience peace and happiness and serenity. So the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, that is the yoga of divine manifestation, explains that the entire world that we are experiencing, all this flora and the fauna, the things and beings, the animals and plants, are simply an expression of God.
Every week on Sadhana, the Inward Path, we strive to highlight the essence of our existence. In fact, a quote from the Atharvana Veda goes as follows: "Strive to move away from untruth towards truth." That should be our guide and goal too. Thank you for joining us on this journey towards truth. Until next week, do keep up your sadhana. Hari Om.